Hello, my darlings. In this video, we are going to start talking about the rock cycle. So in previous lessons, we've focused on like igneous rocks, like this one, and how it's formed, and then sedimentary rocks and how they're formed, and metamorphic rocks, like this one, and how they're formed. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to take a step back, and we're going to see, well, how are all of these rocks connected? How do you get from a igneous rock like granite and change it into a metamorphic rock like gneiss? And is that even possible? Short answer, yes. And so, but how does that happen? And so that's where the rock cycle comes in. Is the rock cycle is kind of a diagram that's going to show you how those forces that are deep inside the earth and then forces at the earth's surface are working together to build and also destroy and change rocks from one type into another. It's this, and you know me, I love recycling. And so that's kind of what this is you're recycling the rock material. I love it. So let's talk about this. So some forces that we're going to talk about: weathering, erosion, deposition, heat, pressure. You're also going to hear terms called compaction and cementation. And but as we go through this, I want us to also recall that forces can be destructive or constructive. Remember that destructive forces are forces that are going to destroy or wear away land masses. So are you wearing down a mountain? Are you wearing down the top of a volcano by it erupting? Are you wearing down like the surface of the earth? And then constructive forces are those that are going to build up land masses. Are you building a hill? Are you building a mountain? Are you building a new landform? And so keep those in mind as you're going through, because at the end we're going to kind of go back and go through the rock cycle and and differentiate them into, okay, this one is a destructive force and this one's constructive. So got it? All right, let's move on. Okay, so next, what you're going to need. So you can do this two ways. You can do this online, and if you want to do this online, like I do, you can download the notes called Notes Rock Cycle Student, or just on a plain sheet of paper, you can draw it out. You can draw it out, or you can print the Notes Rock Cycle Student Notes. You'll also need, if you do on paper, you'll need a pencil or a pen, and you're going to need 2 highlighters. Any color is fine. I use yellow and blue in the video, but again, you can choose your favorite colors. It's to choose your own adventure. So, okay, let's go on. Ready? Are you ready? Okay. So here, that is our schematic of the rock cycle. So here we go. So look, we can see here we got magma and lava, so that molten rock, and then we've got igneous rock here at the top. Then we've got sedimentary rock here, and then we've got metamorphic. And so we see the arrows are connecting them all together. And so on the arrows is that's where we're going to put the force. So what force is driving the formation of that type of rock? Okay, so let's first start with molten magma or lava. So if we got this cool volcano erupted, lava is coming out, magma is underneath, and so it's how are we going to change that and make it into an igneous rock? What force is it that's driving that to happen? So all you're doing is you're cooling, right? We're cooling molten rock, and as it cools, it hardens. So that force is just cooling. It's a cooling force, or the lack of heat or heat dissipating. Okay, so now let's go to do the opposite. So is there a way that you can take igneous rock and then get back that magma and lava? Well, yeah. If you cool it to become igneous, what do you have to do to get it back? You melt it, right? So all you do is you add heat. That was easy, right? Okay, so now let's say we've got this igneous rock, like granite. So, how is there a way that we can get that igneous rock to become like a sedimentary rock. Let's go there. So first thing that we have to do, what we learn, is that you have to first take it and you have to weather it away. So you're going to break it up into sediments, right? So the first step is going to be, weathering. So remember, just breaking it up into sediments. So you're breaking them down, weather it away, weather it. And then what are you going to do? Then you're going to have to erode it. Now remember, there's a difference between weathering and erosion. So many times people mix them up or they just don't differentiate them. But they are two separate steps that often happen together. And they usually happen by the same force. So if you got this rock that's sitting in the bottom of a river, and so the water is constantly pounding that rock, it's going to break off tiny little bits of it, so it's breaking it off. That's weathering. But then at the same time, it's going to take that tiny bit of rock and carry it downstream. That's your erosion. And so there's two steps, but they kind of happen like that. And so that's why sometimes you'll see them weathering / erosion happen, but they're very different. So make sure they're two forces. So cool? Okay. So weathering, we break it. Erosion, we erode it away. We carry it away. The next, what we have to do is it's going to be carrying down a stream, or it's going to be carrying in the air somewhere else. And then we're finally going to deposit it down. Deposition. So all of those sediments are going to settle down. So now they're settling down. The wind has died down and they've become heavy enough that they fall out, or the river settles down, and so you're getting this settling down. Well, it's not a rock yet because now they're just a bunch of pile of sediments. So how do we still get it to the sedimentary? Well, now we have to add a bunch of pressure. And so that's where you're going to compact it down. That's our next step. Compaction. So now we're compacting it. So we're pressuring it. All of that pressure of the next layer of sediments and the next layer of sediment and the next layer of sediment. Or you can have the other, like it's settling down at the bottom of a river, and so now you got all that pressure of the sediments on top and the pressure of the water on top, pushing it down. So that's compaction. And over time, it'll get so compact that it just now has become a solid rock together. Okay, and then sometimes you get that second step where you squish all the water and air out, and you get this cementation. So now you're going to cement it together. So cements together. And so I kind of use like my dancing, my sedimentary rock dance, where we help you remember it. So we weather, messed up. Weathering, erosion, deposition, compaction, and then cementation. That's our little sedimentary dance. Okay, so now we've got this chunk of sedimentary rock. So now let's talk about, well, can we take that sedimentary rock and can we make it into metamorphic rock? Yeah, absolutely. So how do we do that? Well, remember from our lessons, to make a metamorphic rock, you have to add two forces, not just one, two. So two forces, heat and pressure, intense heat and pressure. This happens so deep in the earth. So these rocks are formed super deep in the earth. So over time, they just keep pressing down from that compaction and then deep. And that's where you get that intense heat from the inside of the earth. And you get the pressure because it's so deep down, you got all these layers of rock on top of it. So the mixture of them in that beautiful combination creates these metamorphic rocks. Now, the thing is that what would happen if we take a sedimentary rock and we add heat alone? Well, that's a heating force. You're taking a rock, you add heat to it. What are you going to get? Let's see. Magma and lava. You melt a rock. That's all you're doing is you're melting it. So that's why you have to have that heat and pressure. because if you just add pressure, it's just gonna stay a sedimentary rock. But if you add both, metamorphic. Now, let's go back here to igneous rock right here and say, is there a way to get it to be a metamorphic rock? Well, that's like what I talked about at the beginning. Granite to gneiss. So again, all you have to have is what for metamorphic? What do we have to have? What forces? Two. That we need heat and pressure. So just take a bunch of heat and pressure, because this like let the land like sink down and press it down deeper into the earth. All that heat, extra heat, and then the added pressure from above, and now you're gonna get this granite chunk turned into this nice rock. It's nice rock. Got it? It's also nice. G-N-E-I-S-S. That's the name of it. I love that. Okay, now, last one is, how do you get a metamorphic rock back to magma and lava? How do you get it here? All you gotta do is do what? Add some heat to it. We just melt it again, just like any other rock. You melt it, you add enough heat, just heat alone, it turns into magma and lava. And then it can just start the cycle all over again. Pretty cool, right? Good. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we are going to highlight each of these forces as we classify them as either a destructive force or a constructive force. So remember, destructive, we're destroying, we're taking away, we're breaking it. And then a constructive force is we're building up or we're creating. Okay, cool. All right, so let's start here with magma going into igneous rock. So if we cool magma to become igneous rock, we're creating the igneous rock. So that is constructive. So I'm highlighting my constructive in yellow. You can choose your own color. My blues, my destructive, I'm gonna highlight in blue. Again, choose your own color. Choose your own adventure. Yay! All right, igneous rocks. Igneous going melting back into magma and lava. So we're tearing it down, we're breaking it, destroying it, destructive. All right, now igneous rock going into sedimentary. 5 steps. First step, weathering. Taking that big chunk and breaking them into tiny, tiny pieces of sediment. That one would be destructive. And then we take those sediment and we move them away. We erode them. That would be destructive. And then we deposit those sediments into a nice layer. So we're creating a layer of rock. That would be constructive. We compact it down with pressure. Compacting, we're creating that. Constructive. And then some of those sedimentary rocks can do that cementation. Constructive. And then now we take that sedimentary rock, we're going to add some heat and pressure to it and make it a metamorphic rock. So here we're just changing it rock. We're changing that rock into a different type. If I had to choose, I would choose that it would be constructive. Same thing with igneous rock going into metamorphic. If I had to choose, I would choose it as being constructive. Now let's go to sedimentary rock. We take that sedimentary rock, add a bunch of heat to it, melt it back into lava. What are we doing? Destructive. And the same thing here with metamorphic. Take that metamorphic rock, add a bunch of heat, and make it back into molten rock. That would, again, would be destructive. So there we got it. We got the cool rock cycle, all of this recycling awesomeness. Yeah. And now we've classified all of those forces as destructive or constructive. So thanks for watching. Always remember to be good, be kind, be awesome, and recycle. All right, thanks.